Hello everyone, and welcome to the International Racing League, round 20 of 27 as the series visits the jungles of Vietnam. There are some pretty big headlines coming out around Japan, especially at the fact that the Toyota executives have announced that Viola Lang and Everett Masana are out at Toyota, and they are being replaced by Brandy Thorne and Wesley Jewell. While Lang wanted out of her contract from the get-go, Masana's contract negotiations fell through, as she does not want to be, quote, another teacher for another driver, unquote. Jewell has been expected to jump up to the factory team after stunning performances throughout this season, while the third leading Ferrari was the bygone conclusion at the start of the year. However, as Ferrari was not accepting blame for any mistakes or any errors, it seemed only a matter of time before she had left. There's been some good hype with De Thorne heading to Ferrari. De Thorne seemed upbeat about it when asked about it in driver interviews. And Wesley Jewell, well, I think is finally happy that he might have a ride that might be able to allow him to win a race. Of course, TRD, you don't expect them to win a race because they have the junior team, but still, Jewell has been on the podium several times throughout the year. Speaking of Toyota Racing Development, Koenigsegg, the car manufacturer, has been looking to buy into that team, so TRD may not be a junior team next year. It may be its own factory team, and from the rumors of it, Devin Butler has been rumored to join Koenigsegg wherever they end up. Now let's talk about the track. It's the track that we're at itself, the DK Raceway. The DK Raceway, built at the start of this year, is going to be the International Racing League is going to be the first series. International Racing Series, that is, to race on it. You do not want new tires on this track. If you pit too early, you will be sliding around. You want more tires. So, if you pit early, that could be a mistake. We have seen some people try it in the GT races this weekend, but to no avail. This track is unique as there's hardly any spectator grandstands, and all spectators that are here are local campers that managed to make the trek out to the raceway. Of course, all cars here were brought in by helicopter, as there are hardly any roads leading to the raceway. So, pretty isolated place to have a racetrack, but still a unique one nonetheless. With that being said, let's take a look at the starting grid. On the front row is Danny Marco and James Cathcart, both going for the title. On row 2, Giovanni Blair, the team boss of Team Rocket, and Everett Masana. Row 3, Jesse Knotts and Independent Trophy driver Sheer Tukaruki. Row 4, Brandy Thorne will be taking over Viola Lang's seat next year. Row 5, Ingy Arison and Dan Connolly. This is his home race. Row 6, Evan Berlund and Borga Daniels. It was rumored that Frank Walker's team, the Berlund Drive Sport, is going to become a Dodge factory team, and as in more Dodge support. Row 7, Pierre Lamont and Devin Butler. Butler probably going to leave that team at the end of the year. Row 8, excuse me, Jake Bennett and Kyle West with a good qualifying effort. Row 9, Wesley Jewell and Chris Regazzoni. Row 10, Independent Trophy driver Aleutian Yushin and Nathan Orman. Row 11, Independent John Newgood and Silly Souza. Row 12, Aiden Jackson and Rich Roy. Roy winning a better year. Jackson probably getting to Ferrari, more than likely. At least that's the rumor. Row 13, Ryan Rickshaw and Nate Smithley. Smithley, again, rumored to leave the team. Row 14, Cass Brackman, Ryan Raver. Row 15, Tim Courting and Victoria Andonov. No news on her. Row 16, Lou Grainer and Caitlin Tannerhill. Row 17, Cassandra Hendricks and Allison Holiday. Row 18, Independent Trophy Winji Shakaspiri and David Bison. Row 19, Pamela Cook and Matthew Evans. Evans had a spin in qualifying, and Lissa Hart on the last row of the grid. Again, she hit the wall. The ARL champion, not exactly used to running on road courses, since the ARL has effectively no road courses. Unlike most road courses this year, the track promoters wanted a rolling start. Thus, the series would provide a rolling start. A little weird that these guys wanted a rolling start, but then again, the front straightaway is kind of short compared to other tracks on the schedule. Danny Marco leads him to the green flag. And away we go. Great start made by J.Y. and Blair. He's already trying to get 3 wide. Marco is caught sleeping on the start as he's being flanked by both Team Rocket drivers, entering the first little bend, which is turn 1, into the tight hand curve turn 2. He's flanked by all 3 Team Rocket cars. Blair to the lead. Cather slings it wide a bit, and that's going to jam up the entire field. Blair holds the lead. Marco in second, entering turn 3 as we have a spin in the back. This is when Shaka Spirit. It looks like 4 wide does not work out well. Cassandra Hendricks bounced around and around goes to 31. And he has some heavy right side damage up the field. Illusionation hooked by Ryan Rickshaw. And around she goes. We have more chaos across the field. That's Silly Susan, the 3 car who was spun because of beautiful after her. She got hooked by someone, and John Newgood almost spun, but they saved by him. Cathar still running third. Jamie by Blair and Dave Market both threw it off the road. They have turn 1. This can give Cathar a run on the Canadian. Down this front straightaway, you can see the sun is starting to set here in Vietnam as Cathar takes second. Dan Connolly, the Vietnamese driver, making a move on Inge Eriksson. This is his home race. You can see one of the TRDs are in the pits. I think that's Antonov. But again, Connolly, home race for him. Trying to do the best he can. He's going to get past the 33 of Inge Eriksson, who had, I think, a bit of adventure in the last turn. Eriksson fighting back on the outside again. Gets in the curb, gets loose. A little bit more violent this time. Good at independent super driver. We mentioned him earlier. He was involved in the first lap chaos. There's Chris Riccazoni, running around Chris Riccazoni, and the 55 Ferrari entering this fast snake section. And it looks like Riccazoni is going to have the position on the inside of the 25, and he will. John Newgood in the twilight of his career, probably the round of Florida will be his last professional start in the IRL. Here's Jesse Knotts running way wide. And same with Everett Masana, but Masana's going to recover a lot better. Both her and Tukaruki making it 3 wide. I think Masana made a late block on the Japanese driver as they come down turn 1, 3 wide in on the front straight. Now entering turn 2, still 3 wide. Maybe a little contact between the 70 and 19, but that's going to allow the 077 Tukaruki to get past both of them. And Brandy Thorne making a move on the inside. Masonic gets a fender entrance into the 2 right-handers, and looks like Tukaruki is going to lose any hope of getting past the pair of them, but he's going to fight back, entering the left-right section over here into, which will then become the back straight. Tukaruki still side by side with, this is some great stuff throughout the field. A very high-speed 2-mile circuit in the forest of Vietnam, where you have races like this all across the racetrack. It's been a lot of fun watching the GT cars all this weekend. It's fun watching them now entering the last section of the track. Tukaruki, Alexik's going to have the second place in the champion. He's going to pass the driver who's running second in the championship. Maybe some contact, but still slides a bit wider. They're going to get the battle for the lead happening around lap traffic. But Jesse Knotts is going to hold up the spot. Tukaruki falling backwards. Here's what we were talking about up ahead. Cathar and Blair both caught to Victoria Antonov, and they almost tripped over each other, trying to get past the stricken 99 car. See, Alison Holiday has damage and is leaving the pits. And the 56 car by 3 wide of the lap car. Cathar on the inside of his team boss, entering turn 2. And he's going to clear him, it looks like. Oh, man, that curb's been catching a lot of people out. Still side by side, entering the right-handers. The 2 tight right-handers that have caught some people out over during practice. Sliding wide and hitting that wall. Enter into the S's now. And into this left-hander. Still side by side. Neither driver giving an inch. I wonder if now we're going to see Cathar try to run his team boss off the road, which would be a very unnecessary idea. As we're waiting for him to come around this bend, which is the back straight, there's Holiday. I wonder if the leaders are going to catch up to them by the time this battle is over. Still side by side in the back straight, entering the last section here. Cathar is going to have the advantage in this turn in the last turn. Blair's going to have the advantage in this turn, but to no avail. Maybe it will be avail. Cathar got loose, and that's going to allow Blair to take the lead. The 29 and 65 with the pits. I don't know what strategy they're on. That's a bad idea. We're looking at car number 99 of Victoria Antonov. She's fast as the leaders. It takes a while for the tires to warm up, but she's as fast as the leaders. Here's Caitlin Tannerhill. on newer tires, and look how much slower she is compared to Blair and Cathart, costing Blair loads of time. Blair finally gonna have a look on the inside, entering the back straight. Cathart trying to go in between them. I wouldn't do that. Thinks better of it. Falls in behind his boss. So Cathart not taking any risks too early. Now entering the last section, Cathart has a bit of a look, nothing to it. Entering this last turn to complete the lap, and rolling a bit wide, and the 58 a bit of a bobble. Brady Thorne heading to Toyota. At the start of the year, that was an impossible thought. Nearing the end of the year, and I think it's good to see car number 13 heading to a different team. This year's been horrible, bad luck, spins, engine failures, you name it, and Ferrari has to apologetic over their mistakes throughout this year. And here's who'll be her future teammate, Wesley Jewell, who's had an outstanding season so far in this number 4 car. He is currently in the top 10 in points. And here's another driver who's had an outstanding season, that being Casper Ackerman, but he fails for the pits for some reason. I think he's reporting a vibration. Matthew Evans qualified deep in the field. He had a spin during qualifying, and because of the lap 1 shenanigans and where he got damaged, he's made no progress to the field, which is kind of surprising. Matthew Evans, he's making a move on Jacques Spire, who also has damage. But Matthew Evans, who looked to have a shot to win at Japan before that spree of late cautions happened, not having a great day. Inge Garrison pits on lap excuse me. He pits on lap 11. Sorry about that. As Viola Ling is trying to run down car number 13, and she's in tail hunt. Along with this car, Bogart Daniels, the former Formula X champion. Either they're way far back in the Roy's. I'm not sure if either paying attention or, again, as fast as the leaders. Pitting early is not going to gain you much. I'm not sure why Harrison did, and why Roy and Tannerhill did as well. I wonder if they're hoping for some weird stuff to happen. Meanwhile, 58 car pits on lap 13. Lap 14 is when basically everyone else pits. Here's on board of Giovanni Blair. Let's see if he's going to make up any time. Entering the last turn, slides it wide and onto the curb. Let's see anyone that we know he's racing that are in the pits currently. So he got past the Thorne. There's Jesse Knotts. This is going to put him, I think, second. Yes, James Cathart is currently leading the race still. As here's the exit behind the two leader, the 58 and 70 of 1979. Excuse me, this is in front of him. So Knotts is third. Knotts is fourth. Blair's fifth. This is the battle for second between Danny Marco and Everett Massana. Massana trying everything she can to get a contract with someone, and will win the championship. It's kind of a good idea, especially if you're on a contract here. Marco is going to hold off, though. Massana as they exit the pits. Massana trying a different line, and I think that cost her time. Yes, it is costing her time. Danny Marco is going to start to pull away and try to run down James Cathart in the Lenard. Team Rocket Lenard. You can see the background. The Thorne is 7th at the moment, as we're waiting for scoring to recycle. Here, looks like the 19 is better under braking, as the 79 got loose under braking. That's something you don't want to see, especially on a track that has a lot of high-speed turns. Not high-speed turns, but straightaways entering tight turns. 79 slides it wide. Okay, so the handling's gone on the on that Ford, and here comes Massana down the main straight, and she's going to take second by the time they get into turn 1. So there's scoring up top of your screen. So a mistake made by Danny Marco is going to cost them second, but for how long? As he's going to try to look at Massana. Here's the 75 car. Again, she's the only title contender outside the top 10. The 11's running 9th, just keep that in mind. In Garrison now running against Ryan Raver deep in the field. That pit strategy is costing her as whoa! That was a swing and a half made by Ryan Raver. I don't know what he has against Harrison, against Teamster USA, so you have a lot of things. Harrison's off the road and into the wall. And we've seen a lot of that mistakes during practice, especially in the first practice session. But Harrison's bad day is going to get worse. Here's Danny Marco still running third. Masano, wide it looks like. So is two Team Rocket cars behind him. But anyway, Marco with a run on Masano. This is about for second. James Cather is loving this as he's pulling away. Side by side down to turn 1. Entering turn 2. And he's going to clear Masano. Then Masano's going to have a run around the outside. Now the inside into the next 2 turns. You can see the Thorn and Cherokee fighting behind them as well. Masano going to try to hold off second, running them basically off the racetrack. These two are fighting for everything they've got, but Marco's going to hold the position. Nice defensive battle made by the 19. Here's the 50 trying to hold off I'm not sure why he's trying to hold off Rich Roy, but he's got his 55 behind him. Contact! And around goes the 50. Looks like both Roy and Courting both went for the same piece of racetrack. As that, there's really no good line to go through those 2 turns. And, well, Courting gets caught out with it and to have some rear end damage. I don't think there's going to be a penalty because the 50 did stop the racetrack, but the battle for second heating up again. Marco slid it wide. Here comes Masana. Giovanni Blair looking closer this time, but I don't think it's close enough to do anything about it. Entering turn 2. As they come around the turn, Marque is going to do some aggressive defending. That curb is going to catch you out, but a lot of cars are making hard right turn or left. Yeah. Right turns to maybe scare their opponent into something. Marco's trying to do the same thing he did last time, but Masana saw that one coming. She runs off the road a bit. Here comes Blair around the outside and turning the back straight. Looks like he might get at least the 19, and he does. Giovanni Blair in front of the 19. Looks like does Masana have a run at him? Doesn't look like it. And Giovanni Blair is up into the podium again. And later that lap, he's going to try to set up the 79. Marco runs a bit wide. I wonder if he's mirror driving. And here comes Blair down the front straight away. You can see this 15 on the bottom of your screen, just entering turn 1. Oh, right-hand bend, or left-hand bend. Whoa! Blair, that car got sideways. And that car's also having handling issues, it looks like. But Giovanni Blair's going to take second, but that looks like he's driving a handful. Here's the 45 car of Alyssa Hart running inside the points. Hooked by Ian Garrison. Around goes the American Racing League Drivers Champion, I like to add. Won this past weekend. And she just got hooked by Ian Garrison, and there's really nothing to do about it, and that's going to take Alyssa Hart, the Chinese-American, out of the race. Meanwhile, the battle for now third is getting caught up behind the lap car of Casper Ackerman, who I think is trying to get out of everyone's way. But anyway, Knox has a run on the 19. As they enter the front straight, the 19 is going to pull. So the 19 holds the position, as that's not a surprise, and Knox is bailing for the pits. Not surprised being the black flag being handed to the 33. Anyways, Cathart stays out. That's kind of a surprise. Though I can kind of see going off of this pit radio, or the radio from the 15, I can kind of see what he's going for, as in if you stay out longer, you're going to have better tires. He pits on lap 24. On lap 25, Giovanni Blair is going to hit the pits. And they're wondering if they're calling him in for a reason, as in his tires were about to explode. Being James Cather. Here's the 1979. Whoever else is pitting, they're bound to the lead, and they're going to split Viola Ling. It took Ling a while to get out of the way. And she's knocking on the way. Looks like they're going to work together. They're going to draft behind the 79. Drafting on a road course is something I never thought I'd say. But still. Side, they're going to go. The 79 is going to get past the 19. And they will both pit that lap. And here they come out of the pits. The 79 is going to hold the spot. Now will they hold? What position will they hold? That is, well, this 19 almost whipped out Shaka Spire. There's Giovanni Blair. I think this is the battle for a second. No, this is the battle for the lead. Cathar's behind them. Blair is overdriven, turned into the wall. So Giovanni Blair's off the road. Marco's in the lead. And that was the battle for the race lead as well. I think I mentioned that twice already. But Marco, that comes out ahead of the 19. And the 58, Blair trying way too hard and smacks the wall, but he keeps the car pointing in the right direction. Though he is going to lose a ton of spots. Meanwhile, 70 car has fallen to 14th. So a bad stop made by the Team Rocket crew is going to cost them. Cathart working over a points rival as the 19 hit the wall out of the backs off the last turn. We've seen a lot of people overdriving that turn. I don't think we've seen anyone overdrive it that much. To the point where they lose several positions and hit the wall. Cathart now going for the lead over Danny Marco. Down the back straightaway, he's got a run, scoring up the top. Side by side down to the main straightaway, or excuse me, the back straightaway, entering, which will be the final sector. Looks like Cathart's going to clear him before they get to the sector. So a nice move made by the Team Rocket driver. Entering this turn. Oh, Cathart drives it wide, so does Marco, but Cathart overdrove it more. Here comes Marco down the inside. He's going to come down, looks like he's going to take the lead by the time they enter turn 1. So Danny Marco back to the point. It looks like they're giving Cathart, though, the contact! They're both off! Cathart into the wall, Marco as well, and J. Blair is going to take the spot. That's not a... There's heavy right side damage to the 15 car. So this is a lap car. Looks like Masana is going to try to get by the 15, but can't. Here's another view of it. Cathart overdrives the turn. Marco does as well, but not as much. Now, he's alongside him. And he just moves over. He's moving over already. And by the time they come down to turn number 1, he just pulls up into the racing line, begins slowing down. Marco into the wall. I don't know how bad the damage is on the 79. Here's the onboard view of the 58. Blair, despite his car being put into his team car being put into the wall, and him probably playing ghost for it, he's probably loving this from a driver's perspective. Yeah, from that angle, Cathart just got moved over on. Regardless, Blair's going to hold the lead. We're looking at now the 4 and 80, and this is a battle for I think 11th from the looks of it. Anyway, Wesley Joel around the inside of the 80, and he is going to take that spot away from Kyle West. We don't know what Wesley's doing next year. He doesn't sound like he's going to stick around at Akone though. Anyway, Everett Masana is now under pressure from reigning champion Brandy Thorne, who has had a luck this year, but I think he's trying to salvage what you can out of these poppy races. Contact, exiting the final turn 2. Next thing, Masana getting the elbows out. But 13 sticks it on the grass, still takes the spot. Nice move made by Brandy Thorne, proving why she was a champion a few years ago. Danny Marco is now under pressure from James Cathart. We might see some fist flying. Violing, lap down. No factor here. Both cars have severe right side damage from Marco, self-inflicted, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a penalty out of this. And the swords haven't said they're looking at it, but they, well, anything could happen nowadays. Cathart and Marco being hounded from behind by James Cathart for doing a nice job defensively. I think the Thorne and Viola both backed up, expecting them to crash each other. Which, if I was Cathart, I wouldn't blame them, but I wouldn't risk the championship points. 79 loose under braking. That seems to be a common problem with him in the 58. Entering the last turn. Both keep on the road. Blair trying to get around the 65 of Viola Aling. Here is the two Toyota drivers. Looks like I'm not sure why Viola Aling hasn't been helping the driver, her teammate, but Masana just threw it away trying to get past the 11. Granted, I know they're both title contenders, but this is getting a bit ridiculous between the Toyota drivers. Meanwhile, Viola Aling is being swarmed by many people. Contact with the 70. It looks like Jesse Knox was annoyed with the 11. Nowhere for the 63 to go. Nice move made by DK as the 19's off again, and we have a pile up in the back straight. Here's okay. The 65 trying to avoid the 75 and 19 who spun and just spins it around the back straight. Whoa, okay, this is getting silly now. Lamont's around. It's a Ferrari of Chris Guzzoni. Wesley Jules at the wall trying to avoid these two. Oh, it was a little silly. Here is the 99 and a 35. Raver ended up. I wonder if 70 got loose, if that was her way of telling Aling to get out of the way. Because Viola Aling has been hounding a lot of cars' progress since the last pit stop. Anyway, Endonov versus Raver. Contact, and both they go. Raver's a lap car. Antonov isn't. Excuse me, Aronov's a lap car, Raver isn't, but from that angle, looks like Raver cleared the 99! And I wonder if Antonov was trying to get revenge, because she made contact with 35, but just threw herself off the road. I don't think there's going to be anything handed out, because 35 did hold a spot. Anyway, battle for third, we're taking the white flag. James Cathar and Danny Marco, and to an extent, Giovanni Blair have been caught by the 13 car. The 13 set the fastest lap that last time, entering turn 2. Brianna Thorne's going to try to get on the podium, and maybe more. Keeping it clean, though, Cathar is going to hold the spot, entering the two right-handers. Thorne's trying to do the same move she did on Masana, but to no avail. But she's still side by side with the 15, entering the turn for the back straight. Cathart still trying to give the 13 everything he's got, and of course Danny Marco is loving this, because this means the longer the 15 holds up the 13, the longer he has second for. Though the Thorn is going to get the spot, however, she's not going to have enough time to reach Blair or Marco. Giovanni Blair, running on a partial schedule for his own team, is going to round the final turn, almost put it in the grass, and will take his first career victory in the International Racing League. And after the checker flag, we weren't having the drama, or we had some more drama. Kyle West and Pierre Lamont both been in position trying to get around the 11. Lamont overdrives the corner, and into the wall goes the Frenchman. Jessie Knox, despite her bad pit stop, still managed to come home 5th. Cheetah's rookie basically ran 6th the entire race. Dan Connolly will get a top 10 in his home race. Devin Butler, Bulger Daniels, Lake Lies, Jake Bennett, a solid points day for him. Everett Masana basically fell through the field in the final stint after failing to get around her teammate. Kyle West and Nate Orman both managed to beat Wesley Joel. Ruccazzoni probably having a better day than what he actually had. Cassandra Hendricks making an argument on why she should have a 35 car next year. Speaking of the 35 car, it finished behind her. Aiden Jackson with some solid points. Mela Cook scoring some good points with how good that team is. Pierre Lamont, despite having that spin, managed to score points. Ace Smithley was quiet all day and would also score points. Lou Greener actually finishes the race for once and grabs some solid points. And Courting and Bison and Evans all run at the top 25. Worth noting that Evans did a good job managing traffic. The 11 drivers you see here are the only drivers left that are eligible for the International Racing League Drivers title. And the next time we see the series in action, we'll be in the Land Down Under in Australia. We hope to catch you then.